Okay, second time lucky. So I promised many of you that I was going to do a video on EDS, which is a condition that I suffer from, as it's EDS Awareness Month. So here goes. I'm hoping that this time I can actually upload it, because I waffled on for so long they actually cut me off. I wouldn't upload because it was too big. So I'm going to keep this one brief, or as brief as I can keep it. So, brief history of myself. I've always been very flexible, very hypermobile. People at school used to say, "Oh, you're double jointed," or "You're very bendy." And I used to have lots of sprains and falls and things, and bless my family, they called me a hypochondriac. Started to believe it. I then got into my teenage years and had an accident with H.E.D.S, and I hurt my left hip, and ever since then it's not been right. Had lots of scans, couldn't find anything wrong, didn't know what was going on. And then I had my daughter at 20, and just after she was born I fell down the stairs, and I was more worried about her because she went down with me and she landed on her head, and I fell down and there was imprints of the stairs down my back, down my legs. But obviously I didn't care. I wanted to make sure my baby was alright, obviously. So got to the hospital and they make you sit on a gurney whilst you're with the baby and so on. And when I jumped off the gurney I was in a lot of pain. They gave me a quick once over, said, "I think it's your back." That was that. I was just, I was in overnight with my daughter because she'd had a head injury because she'd gone forwards and I'd gone backwards. So that was the beginning of it all, really. I started going to the doctors because my back was so bad. They just kept giving me painkillers. Here, have some cocodamol, have some anti-inflammatories, on your way. There's a good 3 years of that as well. And then I moved up to Hawkinge, moved in with my ex-husband, and that doctor's surgery was amazing. They said, this has been going on for a long time and it's pretty strong painkillers you're on and it doesn't seem to be getting better, and you've had physio and this, that and the other and nothing seems to be working. Let's get you an MRI. I thought, finally, someone's listening. So was all ready to have my MRI, and then I fell pregnant with my second. And so that sort of was put on hold until after I gave birth, and I had my little girl, and then I went back to the doctor and said, "Remember you said you was going to give me this MRI, can I have it now?" Which they didn't have a problem with, so off I went, had my MRI, and I got a phone call from the doctor, directly from the doctor. "Oh, hello Mrs. Dane," that's my name at the time. "I'm phoning to confirm that you've got a slipped disc." And I screamed, I was over the moon. I was like, "Yay." The doctor was like, "You're a weirdo, no one's happy about a diagnosis." I thought, yeah, I am, because now finally something can get done about it. I was all through, this is all through the NHS, and I started seeing an orthopaedic consultant, really nice, Dr. Stuart Hyde. If anyone's looking for an orthopaedic consultant, he's really good. So he looked after me, and I had some nerve root blocks, but they didn't really do anything. And that was pretty much it. I was still getting the back pain and things like that, and I think my knees started hurting, and I'd sort of spoken to a couple of people, and they said, "That sounds a bit like arthritis." I thought, "Oh my God, no, that can't be right." Anyway, so I went to the doctor, said, "My knees are quite bad, blah, blah, blah." And they said, "Well, let's get you an appointment with the rheumatologist, see, whether or not you've got any issues." So they did had a look at me, and the rheumatologist was rubbish, if I'm honest. She took one look at me and went, "There's nothing wrong with you. Yeah, you're hypermobile." Because I hadn't got a clue until my GP had said, "Oh, you're very hypermobile." I thought, "Am I? Okay, fine, whatever." And then she said, "Oh, let's get you looked at." So they did that, and the rheumatologist didn't even bother looking at me, really. No test, no nothing, just, yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with you, you're hypermobile, and gave me a leaflet on hypermobility. I thought, okay, great. So, massive leaflet. Read it all. Thought, okay, fine, fair enough. So I thought I'll go online, I'll do a bit of research. And I know like some people are like, oh my god, you don't go online, you don't research things because you can freak yourself out. Well, I did go online. And I carefully thought about my symptoms and things that I was going through, and I thought, let's have a look and see if anything sort of matches up. And joint hypermobility syndrome jumped out at me, and I thought, well, that's very similar to what I'm going through. It talked about stretchy skin, velvety skin, so skin incredibly soft to the touch and incredibly stretchy. Let me just, sorry, this comes out better. As you can see, very stretchy skin. And I thought, well, this is all sort of hitting the mark here. But I couldn't get, diagnosis from anyone. So I thought I'd join some support groups to see if I could get some advice from some guys who are actually diagnosed with it. And I joined a local Kentish group. Don't know the name, can't remember the name, but will add it in the comments if anyone's interested in joining. And I got a message from a lovely young lady called Grace Welch. And she sort of said, hi, you've joined our group, what's up, can you tell me a bit more about yourself? And sort of explained everything. I said, I think I've got joint hypermobility. And she said, I don't think you do. I think you might have H.E.D.S syndrome. I thought, what's that? So did some research and I thought, oh, hang on a minute. Like, this is quite, there's a lot more involvement in this, and some of it doesn't seem to fit. And I don't know, I don't think so. That's a bit bleak, that. So I thought, well, maybe she's right. She got diagnosed a lot longer. She's been diagnosed a lot longer than I have, and she knows how this sort of thing works. And fortunately, I'd been working for my company for a set length of time, and I was entitled to private medical insurance, which was amazing. But because of all my pre-existing conditions, like falls and sprains and God knows what else, I thought, do I really risk taking this out if they're not actually going to cover me for a pre-existing medical condition? So HR got on it, had a look, and worked out that, yeah, no, you can go on it, it's fine. I have to say that I work for an amazing company. I am entirely blessed. I work for H.E.D.S. If anyone's interested, I'll let you know who that is, but you guys who work there and who know about it know who they are. And I actually work from home, which is incredibly practical for me. I can just get on with things in my own comfort, no sort of running around, jumping in the car. Yeah, I have to do it like once a month or so, just pop in the office, touch base and so on. But the rest of it I do from home, and it works out really well for my whole family situation, because I'm a mum of 5, youngest being 3 months old. Anyway, I digress. So I took out this private medical insurance and been talking to a colleague actually who'd had really bad back problems, really, really bad. She had to have full surgery and everything, and she suggested that I went and saw an orthopaedic surgeon called Dr. James Casher. Massive shout out to that man, he is a legend. So if anyone's got any back issues, go see James Casher. He is immense, he is worth the money, and he is NHS as well, so if you can get on a waiting list for him, amazing. Anyway, he sort of looked at me and went, oh yeah, you're very hypermobile, blah, blah, blah. I thought, yeah, here we go again. And he took a look at my back and he did an MRI and so on. He said, yeah, there's more degeneration. Yeah, the disc's still slipped. It's prolapsed basically, and there's a tear, an annular tear they call it, where it's basically poking out. Anyway, and sometimes it can completely prolapse out, which can cause me to like lose my footing, and like pain shoot down my leg and so on because it hits the nerve. So he was like, oh, and you've got a bit of degeneration in your lower back as well. I thought, what the hell is that? Alright, fair enough. He's like, yeah, the bones are degenerating. I thought, okay, whatever. So he said, what I'm going to do, and this is his exact words, I'm going to carpet bomb your back. I thought, what the hell? He said, I'm going to inject, I'm going to do epidural, I'm going to do a nerve root, but I'm also going to inject sort of into the joints as well. And with some steroids to try and help, with the joint pain and pain in my lower back. It's the facets next to so you've got your spine and then you've got the bits that come off in the lower back, and these are what degenerating. And I thought, all right, fair enough. So he put me under, did that. woke up, ouch. He really did go to town, because that nerve root block that I had on the NHS, I woke up, I was fine. This one, oh my god, I was pretty sore for quite a while. But it did seem to help. It didn't cure it, didn't, you know, by any means, but it made it a lot easier to deal with. So I went back for my checkup, and I thought, you know, I've spoken a bit more with Grace, and, you know, things are starting to sort of add up and come together now, and I'm thinking, yeah, well, you know, it's not just my joints, it's a lot of other things. And yeah, I think maybe I should, you know, go and see a rheumatologist, but someone who knows what they're talking about. So I spoke to James Cash, and I said, look, do you know anyone who knows anything about hypermobility? Because the last person I saw was absolutely rubbish. Can you suggest someone? He said, I know exactly who to recommend you to. But he doesn't work for the NHS anymore, but he does work private, which is fine because I'm private. And he said, yeah, I'm going to get you in with Philip Ball. So I got a referral sent off to Philip Ball, and I went and saw him. I walked into the office, and he sort of sat me down and sort of made me do the Brighton score, which is basically testing your joints to see how flexible you are. I could do some tricks, but I'm not going to, because it's not good for me. And he was like, oh, yep, you're scoring high on these, you know, so on and so on. I think it's 9 out of 9 if your score is the highest you can get, and I think I was about an 8, so I was pretty up there. And he said, I want you to stand up, I want you to sit down, and I'm going to just check your heart rate. So he sat there, you know, checking my heart rate and so on. And then he said, now stand up. And he checked my heart rate again. And he went, yeah, your heart rate's just jumped really high. And I was like, enough. He's like, which is an indication of POTS. I thought, what the hell is POTS? It's posterior orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. I'll go into all the ins and outs about it in a moment. I thought, right, okay. And he's like, yeah, you know, you're hitting that mark as well. He said, basically, you're a full house. And I said, what for? He said, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I thought, bloody hell. Okay, fine, right, great. But in a way, it's kind of a relief. Although it's something that you don't really particularly want to be told, it was sort of like, well, finally, I know why I've got all these issues, and it's not just localised into one area, it's all over my body. So, what is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome? Well, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is a connective tissue disorder. So basically, people such as myself, we can't produce collagen correctly. So if you can imagine, collagen's in your hair, you know, you see all these collagen for your face and blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't produce it correctly, which means, you know, your whole body's made up of it, not just your skin, not just your hair, but, you know, tendons, ligaments, anything soft tissue. So the ligaments and things, so say for instance my knee, the ligaments and tendons that support my joints, my bones, they're lax, they're loose, which means that my knees bend too far, and because of that they can, what they call sublux, which is basically partially dislocate, or they can fully dislocate. Thankfully I've never had a full dislocation, but there are people that really do suffer with full dislocations. I do sublux my knee quite often. I sublux my right elbow, my right shoulder, sorry, sublux my right elbow. And I've subluxed my big toes as well before. And I do believe that the reason I get this hip pain is because I'm subluxing my left hip. And I spoke to Dr. Kasher about that, because he deals with hips as well, and he said he's pretty sure that is probably what is causing it. So walking long distance, my hip just naturally just comes out slightly, which is what causes the pain. It's incurable. Ehlers-Danlos is incurable, because obviously if you think, collagen's all over me, so, you know, unless they try to, well, there'd be nothing left of me if they tried to take it out. And you're probably thinking, well, why don't you take collagen supplements? I produce collagen incorrectly, so if I took that, I'd have even more faulty collagen in my body, which would make me even worse. So there is no cure, unfortunately. So what does that mean? Grin and bear it, basically. I'm lucky that I've got private medical, so if I have a problem, I just have to get on the phone and, you know, I can get an appointment within a couple of weeks. I know that other people aren't as fortunate as me. I've had physio. I've got an amazing physiotherapist in Folkestone. So anyone who has EDS or thinks they might have it or is hypermobile and is suffering with joint issues, get in touch with me because she's amazing. She's actually got hypermobility herself, so she knows exactly what she's doing. She's a bit dear, but she's worth the money. I also got recommended for Alexander techniques, which is about your posture and holding yourself and things like that. And again, I know a lady, she's really good. So again, if you're interested in sort of posture and things like that and ways in helping you move more naturally, then again, I can get you in touch with her. And basically pain medication, lots of pain medication. So currently I was on morphine patches. They've taken me off the morphine patches now. I was on slow release morphine tablets. They've taken them off me as well. So what am I on now? I'm on naproxen. Do not take that late at night because it keeps me up all night long. So I take just ibuprofen at night, but I try and take naproxen during the day if I'm having a bad day. I'm on cocodamol because it's the only thing that seems to work for me. There's a lot of other ones that just don't seem to do anything, but I'm one of these people that really doesn't like taking pain relief. If I can help it, I'll try and avoid it until I'm in agony. So I do not take it regularly. I maybe take 2 a day, and that's last thing at night when I'm at my worst, unless I'm having a really bad flare-up, in which case I will take more throughout the day. But my great-grandmother was heavily addicted to cocodamol, so I don't want to go down that road. I'm also on Oromorph, which is oral morphine solution. Now that is pretty strong, and I will only take that when I'm in dire need. So unless I'm in desperate need, I will not go near the stuff because it, makes you drowsy, it makes you a bit floppy, but also you can't sleep, which is a bit bizarre. Anyway, so those are the meds that I'm on at the moment. I've got laxatives as well, because if I explain the things that run alongside EDS, it's not just about the joints, as I said. I've also got IBS. So 1 minute I could need to run to the toilet, so I always need to know where the nearest toilet is because it could be bad. I have to run to the loo. Or other times it could be the other way around, where I don't go for days and days and days. So I have got laxatives for those times where I don't go. And especially when you're on things like morphine and cocodamol, they do constipate you. So they basically give it out to you at the same time as giving you these painkillers. So yeah, I've got IBS. Because of the problems with my tendons and ligaments, I've now developed osteoarthritis in my left knee, and I'm 31, which is great. And I've also got osteoarthritis in my lower back, which is what the doctor was saying about degeneration. It's basically the bones are falling to pieces. Great. POTS, as I mentioned before, basically you can look it up, POTS, at postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Now, thankfully, I don't actually have that. I went off to see a cardiologist in London. My lovely daddy took me, and they fitted me with a Holter, heart monitor and everything, and they did a tilt table test where they put you on an incline, and they just leave you there, and they monitor your heart rate and stuff. Now, I don't have POTS, but I do have orthostatic intolerance. What that basically means is, when I'm sitting down, like with everyone, when you're sitting down, all the blood sort of goes to your lower extremities. When you stand up, most people just get up and walk off. What happens with me is, because my veins are super stretchy, my heart has to work 10 times faster to get the blood to go back up to my head. So my heart rate goes so fast and the blood doesn't get up to my head fast enough, and so I get dizzy, or I have been known to completely hit the deck. It's great fun. It scares my husband. I've also, with wearing that halter, they also figured out that I've got inappropriate sinus tachycardia, which means that basically out of nowhere my heart will just go. There's nothing I can do. It feels like a stampede across my chest. Yeah, I've been told that I've got coccydynia, which is basically swelling of the coccyx, like swelling around the tissue around the coccyx and the bone. I think it's probably degenerating, if I'm honest. Having 5 babies probably hasn't done it much favours. So sitting on hard surfaces can be incredibly painful, which does suck. So if I sit down for too long, if I stand up, then I can sit back down. The guys at work will know this when they've seen me in the office. I will try and sit back down and I'm yelping as I sit because it's that painful. What else comes along with EDS? Well, there's some other lovely things, such as insomnia. Can't sleep. Mainly due to the pain, but sometimes you literally just can't sleep. You just can't sleep. Just your body just doesn't switch off because your adrenaline just out of nowhere, because your body's so fatigued, it's so tired that it gives you a shot of adrenaline whilst you're lying in bed, and you just can't sleep because it's just got too much adrenaline running around your body, because it's trying desperately to try and regulate itself. And in the flip side, you get extreme fatigue, so you could be so tired, and when you're so tired you get this thing called brain fog, where just basically this cloud descends on you. I'm sure everyone's had it. You know, you walk up the stairs, you're looking for something, you get into the room, you're like, what the hell am I doing in here? So you have to retrace your steps until you remind yourself why you've come upstairs. Well, that's a frequent thing. That, and also in the middle of conversations, I could be having a conversation with you, something will distract me, and then I've completely lost my train of thought, and I'll be like, what was I talking about? Don't even know. Which again happens very often, and I can go a bit vacant. Good friends of mine will know that of me. So yeah, there's just a few lovely things to deal with, but it's not all doom and gloom. I mean, yeah, I mean, this all sucks, you know. What do I do to try and stop my joints from, you know, doing what they do? I have got splints, so I regularly wear my knee splints to try, because my kneecap, basically, your kneecap's supposed to have like a bit at the bottom which tucks into your knee joint. Mine's flat, so mine slides. So I wear this knee support which basically locks my kneecap into place. It's a patella, I think. So I use that quite a lot, and you know, it was really bad yesterday. I definitely subluxed my knee yesterday, 100%. My mum will contest to that, because I was limping around during the day, and then by the evening it popped back in and I was fine. I have splints for everywhere. I have splints for my wrists because I've got incredibly small wrists. I've got splints for my elbow. I've got a trapped nerve in my elbow because my elbow bends too far the wrong way. I've actually trapped a nerve in my right elbow. I was actually offered surgery on it, but because of the amount of leave that I'd had at work, I didn't want to take any more leave. But as I'm on maternity at the moment, I'm thinking I might just get that done whilst I'm on maternity, save me taking any sick leave and upsetting work, because they're too good to me to keep upsetting. But as I said, they've been amazing. Like, I've been there for 10 years, and I've got diagnosed whilst there, and they've just been incredibly supportive and understanding, and you know, provided you're honest with them, I give them all the paperwork that I get given, all the diagnoses I get given. I just give them it all, and I'm just like, look, I'm an open book. You ask me a question, you get a very direct answer. It's just the way I am, and it works because they know that, you know, I'm not pulling their leg, I'm not having them on. You know, it is justified, it is genuine. So, excuse me, I keep moving because sitting still for too long, again, is painful. So we fidget a lot. You'll probably notice that if you know anyone who's got EDS. And we don't sit right. Like, sitting with our knees parallel, like on a chair, it just doesn't feel natural. So we'll cross our legs, we'll put our legs underneath ourselves and things like that, because no, you just can't get comfortable. You're never comfortable, basically, with EDS, which, again, sucks. So I'd like to say that I've got a sunny disposition. There are days where I don't. There are, you know, recently I think the pregnancy actually masked a lot of my symptoms. I did have SPD really, really bad. I mean, the physio said she'd never seen a pelvis quite so mangled as mine when I was pregnant. But that seems to have righted itself now that I don't obviously have a baby pushing down on my pelvis. But other than that, my knees and everything seem to be quite all right during my pregnancy. Since having the baby, though, it's come back with a vengeance. And I did say to my husband the other day, I can't see a way out of this. I don't think it's ever going to get any better. I think this is it, you know. And that's quite a bleak outlook, and I don't like feeling like that. But, you know, when you've gone time without it and then it comes back, because you can have flare-ups, so like where like everything just goes wrong at once, and I think that's what's happening at the moment. And I know that I'm due some more back injections. I know that I'm due some injections in my knee. I believe that I've now got arthritis in my right knee because it's basically feeling the same as the left. So I know that I need a new MRI on my knee. But the way I look at it is, this is the hand I've been dealt. I can't change what's going on. It's hereditary. It's something that I've been given from birth, from both my wonderful parents. My mum is 63, and just before she was diagnosed with cancer, she could bend over with her knees locked and touch the floor with the palm of her hands. For a 60-year-old, I think you'll all agree that's no mean feat. So she's always been very bending. She used to get dizzy. She gets dizzy standing up and things like that. She says, "Oh, Megan, it's normal." I'm like, no, it's normal for you and me, but it's not normal for everyone else. But it's just her normal. And I've since found out from my dad that my grandmother's sister, my dad's aunt, was a contortionist. So I've been dealt a double blow, basically, and that's why I've ended up suffering the way I do. You're probably thinking to yourself, well, if it's hereditary, why the hell has she got 5 kids? Well, let me explain. With a lot of people with EDS, they can't take progesterone only birth control, which basically is written off everything that I can take. Because my mum had DVT when she was a teenager, they won't let me have the combined pill. So everything that's left is progesterone only. I'm not allowed it. If I take it, it makes me worse. Makes the pain worse, makes the subluxes worse, makes everything worse. Progesterone is just not good. So that is one of the main reasons why I have so many kids, because they keep coming. And I had the coil fitted, and I've got a hypermobile womb, so it just came out. With all of your organs, they're all made up of collagen, so they're all affected in some way. Things like routine surgeries, healing can be a pain. I'll give you, for instance, I had my gallbladder out, not this January, but the January before. Routine surgery, keyhole, in you go, out you come. Well, my gallbladder retracted, it dragged the clamp through my diaphragm and perforated my diaphragm, gave me a hiatus hernia. I had the doctor and the anaesthetist stood round my bed, white as sheets. I said, "What's going on?" They said, "I'm really sorry." I said, "What's going on?" And my husband's like in the room, and he wasn't supposed to turn up yet. And he's like white and like on the verge of tears. I'm like, "What's going on?" They phoned me, they said there'd been complications. I thought you were dying. I thought, well, I've just woken up. Like, I was in a lot of pain, I'm not going to lie. Like, my right shoulder was agony, and that's referred pain from the diaphragm. So if you ever have a hiatus hernia, you'll get referred pain in your right shoulder, and it's bloody agony. Anyway, the doctors sort of said, "Oh, well, we're really sorry, but this has happened. We've repaired it, but we've never seen anything like it. It literally went through my diaphragm like butter." Whereas a normal healthy person without EDS, the clamp would have just bounced off. I mean, because it wasn't a knife or anything like that, so it didn't have a sharp. It just went through it like butter. So yeah, and healing can take longer than normal, like any operations, where you cut open, and scarring. Scarring can you can scar more. So like what would normally be just like a normal incision, and for the average Joe, it can actually open up and actually become wider and look quite bad. I'm covered in stretch marks because obviously faulty collagen and hit puberty, put on weight, and I'm literally head to toe in stretch marks. Also, just a quick thing, if you ever see me posting pictures of zebras and things like that, there's a reason for that. Ehlers-Danlos sufferers are known as zebra warriors. The reason for that is doctors are trained, well, they're given this mantra, if you hear hooves, think horses, not zebras. So basically, when a patient comes in and they're telling you symptoms, you think of the most likely scenario. Unfortunately, with EDS, it's the most unlikely scenario, so we're sort of rare. I honestly don't believe that we're that rare, actually. I just believe that there's not enough knowledge out there. and I think there's a lot more people out there that suffer with it, and probably suffer in silence, than there should be. But it's because the medical professionals don't know what they're doing. A lot of them don't. I've been fortunate enough to know people who know who to go to and things like that. NHS wise, if anybody's sort of got any concerns and things like that, if anything that I've said is sort of like rung alarm bells, get in touch with Grace Welch, because she knows a lot of people in the, sort of through the NHS that you could get referrals to, and find out whether or not you are running down that line. Also, there's a lot of comorbidities, things like fibromyalgia and EDS are very closely linked. So people who were diagnosed originally with fibromyalgia then go on to get diagnosed with EDS, or vice versa. I know that I've got a few traits of fibromyalgia, but I think I've got enough going on that I don't really want another diagnosis, if I'm honest. So I'm just going to crack on with it. I do have a disabled badge, and I do get funny looks because everyone's sort of like, oh, she's all right, she's slim, she's just jumping out of the car, whatever. But, when my days are bad and I've got my splints on, I cannot walk far. There's days where I can't even get out of bed. And it's quite funny when I turn up at the school and I park on a single yellow line, everyone and his wife parks up with me because they think, oh, she's doing it, I'll do it. Little do they know I've stuck a disabled badge in the front of the car. So they all get tickets and I don't. So I've started putting, unfortunately, stickers all over my car to show that it's a disabled vehicle, and a sticker on the back, not all disabilities are visible, because I think I get funny looks when I pull up at a disabled space and I'm not wearing my splints because I'm not too bad that day, but walking too far will set me off. So I need to be closer to things than, parking a million miles away. So I sort of get these looks like, well, there's nothing wrong with her. I think they half think that one of my kids is disabled because there's so many of them. But like I said, I don't want it to be all doom and gloom. If I just explain, I work still. I will continue to work as long as I physically can. Because it's hereditary, my kids may well get it. My eldest daughter already wakes up in the night crying with leg pain, which is something that I've always had issues with. And my other daughter is already, she's so bendy, but she's having bowel issues now as well, which again is something that sort of I'm keeping an eye on it, but I don't want them to stop being children. So I'm not going to say, I think you've got this and you need to do this. I'm just going to let them get on with life and just enjoy their childhood whilst they can. And if they say to me, Mum, something's not right, then I'll get them off to the doctor. But because I've been diagnosed, it means that they'll get diagnosed a lot quicker and they'll be taken seriously, unlike me. I am also at college. So I'm a mum of 5, I work, and I'm at college. People call me super mum. I don't think I am. I just get on with it. And I've got an amazing family, and I'll talk about them in a sec. But yeah, I'm at college and I'm doing a course in counselling. I am taking a year's break. I'm soon to finish my level 3, but I'm going to go on to my level 4. But my mum's unwell, and I've got a little 3-month-old, so I don't really want to invest too much time this year, and I will start again next October once the baby's older and hopefully things have settled down with mum, fingers crossed. So I want to be a counsellor because I want to help people who have been given sort of diagnoses, incurable diagnoses such as the one that I've got. EDS isn't progressive, EDS is just EDS, but it's what happens to your body from having EDS that is progressive. So things like osteoarthritis, that's progressive, that's something that is just going to get worse until they go, I'll give her a new knee or whatever. But that won't happen until I'm much, much older, so I've just got to basically deal with it and have steroid injections or hyaluronic acid injections, which are costly, but I had one done. They offered me one through my private medical. And I'll tell you what, it really did work for quite some time. So if you can get the money together and go private and if you've got things like osteoarthritis in the knees and so on, I definitely recommend hyaluronic acid injections. I'm just going to carry on doing what I'm doing. I want to shout out to all my friends because they know who they are. They've come to my rescue at times where I've collapsed and needed somebody to come and help me, or, you know, and I felt rotten and, you know, not been worried about the kids and what have you. They've just dropped everything, come around. Friends that I've stood up where I've said I'll meet up with them and then I've completely forgotten. They know who they are, and I'm so sorry, and I love you. Friends who, you know, I have had to cancel things last minute because I'm just not feeling well enough. I'm just so fatigued and too tired. You know, they've all. I'm incredibly lucky to have the support network that I've got, and I understand that some people don't. And for those people that don't, I'm here. Grace is here. There are support groups out there. Get in touch with them. You'll make some amazing friends from it, and they're friends for life. They're friends who know exactly what you're going through. You can just vent to them, even if you're the other side of the country. You can pick up the phone, you can message, what have you. And I will stick some a link to Grace's page on the comments. I want to shout out first and foremost to my husband, James. He is amazing. He's so patient. He's so understanding. He is my hero. He is my knight in shining armour. He is so understanding of everything. He, you know, he sees it in my face and he goes, honey, go and have a nap. Go to bed. Go and get some rest. Don't worry, I'll do the school run. Don't worry, I'll do this. When he's off, he's like, no, you just relax. For the days that I'm off, you relax. I've got it. I've got this. You know, and I don't know where I'd be without him, if I'm honest, because he just helps me so much, because he knows that I'm flat out when he's at work, so I'm running around after the kids. I get to a point where I'm broken. I'm broken. So he knows that his days off, and I know they're his days off is sort of helping me recuperate for when he goes back to work. And that's the way it works. And he doesn't complain, never complains. He's amazing. And I want to shout out to my dad for taking me here, there and everywhere, all over the place. It's been nice because he's come to lots of appointments. He's realised the severity of the situation, and he's again amazingly supportive, and I can vent to him when I'm frustrated and had enough. And my mum as well, you know. Again, she's one of these. She's my hero, guys. She's very poorly. She's got ovarian cancer, and that woman goes to work every day, and she doesn't complain. She just gets on with it. And I tell you what, she is my hero. She's who I look up to. If I could be like her, I'd like to think that I aspire to be like her. I just pick myself up, dust myself down, and carry on, because there's nothing else I could do. You know, I could mope, I could cry, I could get upset about life. But at the end of the day, what is that going to do for me? Absolutely nothing. And I know that a lot of people with EDS do suffer with depression because it is quite an isolating illness. I'm just incredibly fortunate that I have got an amazing support network around me. And I'm not thinking about, like, what am I going to be like in 10 years' time? I'll probably be in a wheelchair, which I might well be. I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to enjoy what I've got right now and make the most of what I've got right now. And when that situation comes, I'm going to deal with it. I don't want to be looking forward and thinking, God, this is going to happen, and God, that's going to happen. I just want to think to myself, you know, I'm on 2 feet at the moment. Yeah, I might be on my crutches, or I might have my splints on, or, you know, might occasionally be in the wheelchair, but I'm still able to get about, and I'm blessed to be able to do that, because there's a lot of people with EDS that can't. So whilst I still can, I'm going to make the most of it. I do feel guilty for the kids, because I can't do the things that normal mums do, like, for instance, run after them. Don't run. Bad. Running's bad. Anything high impact for someone with EDS is not good. So I do feel bad when, you know, I see all these mums taking them here, there and everywhere, and I can't do that. I generally wait until there's quite a group of us, so like a group of friends and my husband, so that there's more than just me and my husband running around after the 5 kids. There's like loads of us, and we're all looking out for each other's kids, so it's a bit more supported. But I just wanted to let you know about this condition, as it is the awareness month. Let you know that if you have any questions, message me, call me, whatever. I will answer them. I'm a very open book. What you see is what you get, whether you like it or not. And if this has helped any of you, if this is sort of ticks and boxes, then great, fantastic. And get in touch, like I said, and get in touch with Grace as well. I will tag her in this, as she will be able to help you. She has helped me no end, and you know, she's an amazing girl, and I appreciate everything she does. And I'm sure everybody that she's spoken to, that she's been involved with, will all say the same thing. She's an amazingly selfless person, and she's a great advocate for this condition. Also, there's a website called HMSA, Hypermobility Syndrome Association, I believe it is. But HMSA, if you look online, there's a website. You can go on there, and it's free to have a look around, and it gives you symptoms, support, and so on and so on. So have a look at that as well, and E.D.S UK. So this is me signing out. I'm sorry that I've waffled on for 40 minutes, but I didn't. I'm sorry, but thank you for listening. If you managed to get through this, I salute you. And as I said, get in touch if you need to ask any questions. Thank you.